it's very important to do your swing. Like in polo, you don't need strength to hit the ball. You just need to hit it smoothly. So that's when your swing is going to come out very nice. And then when you impact the ball, you're going to feel that the ball is going to go miles because it's just technique. So what you should do, and everyone that's online at the moment, is practice your technique. Every player has a different technique to hit the ball. We all do exactly the same, but with different techniques. So just go softer on the ball and try to hit that ball. Let me see you. That was much better. And the reason why I said that is because when you were trying to kill the ball, the mallet goes so fast and the mallet will automatically pull you up. So if you're bringing the mallet so hard down, you're going to find that you're actually going to miss the ball instead of connecting it. So it's very important. Do your swing nice and smoothly and then connect the ball and come back to basics. I love that. That was much better. Well done. Well done. Much better.
Okay. I have a point here to Emma. So Emma, you're doing the twirl on one side and doing the hit on the other side. So the twirl has to be on the same side that you hit the ball, okay? Okay, don't worry too much about the twirl, Emma, for now. I think the important thing is that the basic is right, and use your left hand. The left hand on the reins is very important, because it gives you just it centers you, and actually when you are on the horse, that will prevent you from actually pulling the reins and moving the horse away. Okay. Excellent. Good. Okay. That's a good little session. Yeah. On the I think everyone is doing a very neat swing. It just is, tweaks here and there, but I think the fundamental thing, guys, is to try to get the stick to do most of the work. Okay, if you reach the point where the stick, basically you can do your swing with very little power or very little exertion on your wrist and on your arm, is great. Now, this obviously, Bernie, myself, all the players that have been playing for many years, this is natural now. We don't think too much about it, but you basically are thinking at every move of what you're doing. But it's memory muscle, guys. So if you just do this, while you're doing your work or your conference calls these days, just hold a mallet and do like this. It becomes second nature. It just, you get the stick to do most of the work, and then you apply more or less power as you need, or direction, to a very established swing. Then hitting the ball open, hitting the ball up, just giving direction becomes a lot easier. If you're trying to do direction, but you're basically forcing the mallet to move around at every stage, is very difficult. So, if I'm not going to give you homework, but one thing that you can do is, while you're, just walking around, when you do your walks these days, just take a foot mallet and just do swings like that. Very easy. People may get scared on the streets, but this is actually the best practice you can have. Kids,
good social distancing.
Right, precisely. That's a good point, actually. You just gave me a business idea. This is the perfect social distancing device. Don't come near me, otherwise you're gonna get hit. The radius around is like 26 inches long. But this is actually, there's yes, there is a swing, there is a bit of science to it, but the more the best you're gonna get at this is just by practicing, getting that stick to do its work. Yeah.
And actually also remember, guys, the polo mallet, the foot mallet, is not a toy. It's a perfect tool, and it's a perfect tool to train different hits. Slicing the ball backwards, slicing the ball on your near side and your off side. I really train a lot with foot mallets. Even though you have the horse, when you have the horse to play polo and train, I also do a lot of foot mallet, believe it or not, with everything I can: bicycle, foot, anything. anything to hit the ball. It just keeps you going and experimenting with different shots.
Exactly. But it's all I think a good thing to just practice with it if you have a chance. Now, the fact that you're not in offices these days may be a blessing in this. You know, you can just move around with your sticks. Okay. All right. Just wanted to move a little bit on the actually, as always, we running behind. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what we started last week, which is about looking after the horses. I think we went through a number of things about exercising, feeding, watering, resting, and so on. One other aspect that is also important, not so much for the horses themselves, but for safety, is about the equipment. Okay, so the equipment is actually quite important to know. To know how to let's say tag a horse, bandage a horse, know what each part of the tag does is quite important, and also looking after your tag. I mean, the tag, as you would have seen, is leather. Leather deteriorates over time, particularly with sweat, with use, with a lot of use. So we need to look after tag as best as possible. And actually, there are risks if you don't, which is basically tag breaking in the middle of your game or riding. So I'm going to show you a little something of the funny is a funny picture of something that happens in the Potrillos Cup last year. The Potrillos Cup is the under 14-year-olds pretty much World Cup that is played in Argentina every year. I want you to look at this. Can you see the picture? Sorry, no, I shared the wrong picture. This is Janine cleaning tag this morning. So this is what we were doing this morning, which actually should be done very regularly. So Bernie, how often do we need to clean tag?
I clean out my tag or our tag after they're used. So if you use your tag 2 times in a day, you clean them all 2 times in a day. So the reason we do that is, like Pato said, sweat and everything that it's around the tag will deteriorate it. So that's why you really have to clean it all the time. Try to keep the sweat out of the leather. So yeah, I clean it every day. It's the best way to go.
So if you don't, something like this will happen. Can you all see that? Can you all see a boy riding a horse?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you see the horse's head? Anyone notices anything strange about that horse?
There's no bridle. Come off.
Exactly. So, what do you think happened there? All right, Tula?
I think the leather deteriorated and he probably pulled the reins and it just came apart from the bit in the brow band and just collapsed.
Yeah, exactly. So basically the reins are in place. The reins are, he's actually holding on for dear life, poor boy, on that horse. But what happened there is the bit that goes around the horse's head broke. Yeah. So let's see can you see that photo now? The second one? Or is it the same one?
Same one.
Let me see if I can. Sorry, I just trying this.
There's actually a way to stop a horse like that. I think that when I'll be back in Colts, I think we have to go over those things. How to stop a horse with no bridle and stuff like that.
Can you all see that photo?
It's the same one, but closer.
Yeah, it's sort of the next stage. Look at the horse.
Yeah.
The boy is just pulling, and no matter whether you're a boy or an adult, that horse will not stop until the horse wants. Now, this is to show you how important it is that basically is tag that has broken. Yeah. Which is it normally happens when you don't look after it or it's all. But it's important. It's a bit like checking the tires, checking the engine of your, the oil of your car. You don't want anything to break while you're in the middle of a match. Now that horse most likely would have stopped at the pony lines if he wanted, or if it was one of these farm polo grounds, he would have stopped back at home. So it could be quite scary. Okay. Have you ever had a situation like that, Bernie, where your tack broke?
Yeah. I had a very strange tag breaking, not from the headset, but from the bit itself. Snapped in the middle. It was a gag. The gag has two pieces of metal that will be joined by two things like this in the middle of the horse's mouth, and that broke off. That snapped. So the bridle and everything was okay, but it had no break. So that was one of the strangest things that happened to me. And then stirrup leathers cutting in the middle of a big shot you're going to hit, and they snap. That's the worst thing. Yeah, so there are let's say the risky parts are in your saddle. I'm going to attack a horse now, so I'll show you part by part, but just bear in mind. So the girth thing that actually goes around the horse's chest and rib cage, the connecting bits, the buckles and the bits that connect, very important to keep well oiled, with product to make it stronger. Anything to do with riding the horse, like the photo we just saw, reins, bridles, anything that is to have the horse, control the horse is fundamental. And something like this breaking, then you have no way of controlling the horse. Okay. All right. So what I'll do now is I'm going to attack a horse. At this point, just feel free to send questions, and it's normally the chat. Sorry, I missed one question from Grace earlier about the foot mallet. So I missed that one, Grace. I'll answer it separately. So I'm going to go through the tacking, but if you want to ask a question, just unmute yourself and ask a question. I'm going to bring Juana and do the tacking. Okay. Just bear with me for a second. I'm gonna go through the full tag. I'm gonna bandage the horse, tag the horse, make it look nice and tidy for a match. Okay. Pato, te hago una pregunta en español.
Sí.
Decirle que en ese tag que vos tenés falta la pechera. Que la pechera lo que hace es prevenir que la montura se vaya hacia atrás.
Sí, la puse, la tengo ahí para poner.
Ah, qué capo.
Give me 1 second, guys. Think of your questions, or maybe talk to Bernie for one minute.
Bernie, it's Tulla.
Yes.
Yep. I've just noticed, because I'm used to riding like with English tack, but the polo tack seems different. What is the standard bit, or do you because the ones at Colts seem to use some different types of bits. What's the standard sort of bit that you'd use for polo?
Usually people use, there's only two that is very common. One is a gag and the other one's a Pelham.
Yeah.
So a gag is the bit that Bandolero uses, and the Pelham is like the ones that Juana uses, Fortuna uses, and most of the horses in. With
the two rings up and below and above each other, they've got like two sections to the bit, here and here.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But also the gags in polo have two sections as well.
Okay.
Yeah, to put 4 reins on.
Yeah.
Every bit in polo will have 4 reins. So it's actually just two reins, but they're called 4 reins.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way it actions different parts of the horse's bit, depending what you want it to do. If you want it to go to pick his head up, or you want to have the head lower, or you want to bring her head like closer to you, the neck. Yeah. So it's actually a whole different world with polo bits.
Yeah.
Then you have millions others. You got Barry gag, you got like the normal gag that I was saying, you got the Pelham, you got the broken Pelham. We can talk all day about bits, but normal ones is.
So I was going to say, a polo saddle, you have your standard girth, and then you have like the extra fabric one. Is that because you're leaning so much more in the saddle?
No, that would be like a seat belt.
Yeah.
So for example, you got the girth and the over girth.
Okay,
yeah, that's the one you're saying that goes over the girth. So that is actually like a safety belt, just in case if the girth breaks, you've got a second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what it's for.
Okay.
It's just safety.
Thank you. Yeah, because I've noticed because it's different tacking up a polo pony to just in a standard saddle and bridle.
Okay.
It looks a lot prettier on the polo horse. No?
Oh, Juana, look how good she looks in the camera. Holy moly.
All right, so I'm going to start from the beginning, okay? So, you may have noticed, I gave the horse a little bit of brushing, just to ensure that there's nothing that could hurt the horse on the back. So sometimes the horse has, I don't know, some dust or pieces of anything that could damage the horse. So you don't want anything to be in between the girth and the saddle and the horse. So it can damage the horse, okay? So first, just give me a little brush. Before tacking, actually, I have my assistant here, Janine. So I'm gonna bandage first, okay? Now I'm gonna do this quickly. So the technique to bandage, I need to show you when you come back. But what you want is to cover the bit between the knee and this joint down there, down to the fetlock, okay? This is the part that is the most vulnerable of the horse for injury, for hitting. You want to protect the tendons and so on from both hitting or sticks hitting. So we normally bandage the full legs, the front legs and the back legs. Today I'm going to just bandage the front legs, which are the more important for us to protect. So every lesson that you see us having here at Colts, you would see that we normally protect the front legs, okay? So first is the bandaging, yeah? Once the horse is bandaged, then we move on to, what do we move on to? The bridle or the saddle? What do you think? One or two? Bridle first or saddle first? So horses, one, I think I have ones, I have twos. Okay, Bernie, what do we do next?
You put the bridle.
Exactly, bridle comes next, okay? Now, when you tack a horse, any horse, even if it's a very tame horse, you should always approach it the right way and put the tack in the right way. You would see me do this. Always from the side, facing forward in the same direction of the horse. You don't want to put the bridle like this, okay? The horse comes back. So always from the side, slowly, always keeping the horse in control. So before putting the tack, the bridle, I will put this around the horse. Why? So whatever happens, I always have the horse in control. Then I take this off. The horse is in control there, okay? And then facing forward, with the reins around the neck first, slowly, and then the bridle. Now, the correct way of doing this is right hand over the horse's head, left hand at the bit and helping the horse open the mouth and put the bit. This is a difficult part, okay? And then over the ears. And you want to do this, the bit of the ears, you want to do it quickly. Why, Bernie? Why do we want to do the ears quickly?
Because usually you don't wanna fiddle around with the horse's ears too much, because then they will get a bad habit of getting their head away when you want to put the bit on. So if you do it quick, the horse will just assume it's just something quick and he's not going to bother too much.
Exactly. So now the horse has been in control all the time, okay? Now obviously these are tame horses, but you're going to deal in your polo journeys with less tame horses than this, and you want to always act, with confidence, slow and soothing. If you do things, brisk moves, the horse gets nervous. Okay, so you want to take your time to attack. The horse is in control there. What next? There we go. I check one more time that there's nothing in the middle that could hurt the horse. Put the mat here. The position of the saddle, I'll show you. All slow, always slowly, like that. Okay. I don't know if you see there. I'm going to try and get the horse a bit closer. The position of the saddle. Okay. You always leave this little bit of mane there. Okay, so that's a bit like a measure. Okay. We don't want the saddle too back or too forward. We just want it to fit nice and naturally. Okay.
Pato, it's also good to say that you don't want it too in the back or too in the forward. Not only because it's not good for the horse's back, but also it will change your whole timing. You're gonna get either too late or too soon to every single ball.
Exactly. Now, you would have noticed, you would have seen the horse at Colts tagged like this. There's one bit that we don't normally use, which is this. This is called the breastplate. I'll put it on, and then you'll probably figure out what this is for. This is another piece of tag that we normally don't put, but it's very important for polo competition. This goes secured on both sides to the girth. So this thing is called the breastplate, and this prevents from the saddle to move backwards. Okay, I'll show you when it's done. I'm going to secure it on this side at the girth, and I'll show you on that side how it goes. Okay. You all see there? So this is called the martingale. This is what prevents the horse from lifting the head. I'll show you how it works in a minute. We secure it inside the girth, okay? And most of you know this already. You have seen it, okay? But just want to show you the timing of what do we do at each point. Okay,
Juana nearly bit Janine. Janine put her in her place.
Don't bite me. Nope.
Now, to be fair to Juana, we're just breaking into her lunchtime. So we just took her out. The horses are all sitting now. That's why she's a little bit moody.
Okay, that's what we meant about the giving prices to the horses, right? This is what happens.
She just takes it for granted that she needs to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, so these go secured against. So we actually have to put it in the proper way, but this would prevent from the saddle to go backwards. Okay. Now the bits that are important here. Well, of course, girth. This is securing. So all these parts have to be well looked after. Today we did a bit of oiling of all these leather parts because these ones are the ones that normally get broken. Now one part that we don't use as much, we use them for the sheepskin, but not in the normal course of things, is this one. This is called the overgirth that Bernie mentioned before. This is basically a safety policy. If something happens with the girth, this will go all around and secure it. We're gonna put it on now, okay? It goes under the martingale over there and over here. So once you tighten the girth, then you can tighten this. Now, something that is good practice, and Bernie will tell you, which is particularly important with young horses, with new horses, is once you tighten the girth, the horse is stationary. Before you actually do a last tightening, what do? You just take the horse for a little walk. Why do you think we do that? Why do you think we tighten the girth in 2 stages? Can anyone tell me?
Because they kind of try to puff their stomach out, so to trick you.
Exactly. This is probably not tricky, it's instinct, okay? The horse will resist tacking, which is something unnatural, okay? So the horse would probably, what we call it in Spanish is basically the back muscles, the muscles over here, they would get very tight and actually expand the rib cage a little bit, which means that you tight, and then the horse, when it moves, it relaxes. So you want to tighten again, okay? So Bernie and I had many experiences like this where you actually tighten probably too quick and then go out, and the horse sort of, when it starts exercising, releases and the girth becomes loose. That is dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. And if you guys ever see polo matches or things like that, you will probably see some players that will put their own legs forward and tight the horse from like being on the horse as they're on and just walking around the polo field. And just to add something that Pato was saying and Ben was saying about the horses blowing out or whatever, it's not only that also, it's just to make sure that the skin that is being, yeah. So then by the horse walking, it will just adjust by itself and then you can finish the process. Sorry, Pato.
Very good. Okay, up to now, do you guys have any questions? I'm gonna move to plaiting the tail and show you how the last bit that we do before the horse goes in. But do you guys have any?
Patrick, can I just ask a question about the breastplate? Is that just to prevent the saddle moving back just because of normal movement, or is that also a safety precaution in case the girth breaks or?
No, that the breastplate is purely to prevent the saddle to go backwards. Now, if you think of a very slim, fit, muscly horse running around, moving around, you know, you weigh 50, 60, 70 kilos, you move around, you can move a lot in that situation, especially if the horse sweats. So once the horse sort of sweat around, the saddle can move sideways.
Okay.
I will add a little thing on what Pato said. Also, when the stride of a very fast horse will pull you, not only move the saddle forward, backwards, but it will take you off the saddle as well. So these things are made for horses that are in very high competition, and when they run, like just picture a greyhound running, and you will feel actually the thing moving back. So that's what the breastplate is for.
Okay.
Right. Go through the last part before getting the horse ready to play. I'm gonna plait the tail. We're gonna do more of this, like often. We're gonna do this more at Colts actually. So always remember, you need to make the horse aware that I'm behind, okay? Otherwise, I don't want to be kicked. So I'm gonna do it a little bit sideways. I'm always you always have to be very careful about this part when you're behind the horse. Very simply, everyone knows how to do a plait, no? So there are various ways of doing this, but the traditional way is this. It's basically you make a simple 3-string plait all the way as tight as you can. The girls love doing this, okay? You plait all the way. I'm a bit rusty with this. I haven't done this for a while, but it's 3-point plaits all the way. Okay. So once you reach the bottom, we're gonna fold in 3 parts. We're gonna fold it in 3 parts. So the tail is as long as the bone of the tail. And I'll show you what I mean by this. Once you come here, you get to the end, I have a little bit of tape. So we use the tape to secure this. I'll show you how. Very simply, so the plait is secure, okay? Once you do this, you're gonna fold it in 3 points. Here is more or less where the tail of the horse ends. You can feel it. This is where the ends. We're gonna basically just fold it all the way like this, and we secure it with the tail. I'm gonna do it in 3. Nice and tight. Couple around there. Couple of rounds in the middle. And a couple of rounds at the end. So the tail is basically as long as the bone, and you don't have any of the hair lying around. That's a polo pony dress for you. That's what a polo horse, maybe with the back legs also bandaged, but that's what a polo pony looks like. Okay? Are we missing anything, Bernie? I think that's pretty much the
No, that's it. That's it. And she looks perfect like that. Looks beautiful.
She needs, actually, I wanted to trim the horses as well. So the horses need to be, okay, quiz question for you. How often do we trim the manes? Is it every 1 week? Is it every 2 weeks? Is it every 3 weeks?
Who's the question for?
Who's
the question for?
Everyone. Bernie, you're banned from answering this one.
Yes, I know.
Actually, it's every 1 week, okay? We want the horses to be trimmed and tidy every 1 week, okay? Now, one thing we
usually is every Monday, by the way.
Okay, now, you see the bit that Juana has here now. We didn't talk about the bits, and we can talk for half an hour about bits and bridles, but this is called a Pelham, okay? On the Pelham, the system is, Bernie was telling you, the bit that broke when he was riding was actually inside. It was the middle of this crossbar. Sometimes it has a little hinge. This one is a straight one, okay? But the way this works, this actually an important point when you're tackling the horse. Let's see if I can get you to, I'll just bring the camera a little bit more. Okay. You want the bit going right to the end of the lips here, but not being too tight. If you see the lips creasing over there, that's too tight. Or if you see a gap between the lip and the bit, that's too loose. So this is important, because if you don't have the bit in the right place, it could actually be too tight, too up, damage the horse. Or if it's too low, it's gonna be banging on the horse's jaw, okay? So it has to be exactly at distance, and it's very easy to know what that is the horse lip mustn't be creased, or there mustn't be a gap. Okay, this takes practice. Yeah. You know, there are little things that are important when you're tackling the horse. One other.
Patrick, sorry, can I just ask a question? That I understand that's a Pelham. So the ones with the big round ring, what's that?
That's a bridle. Now the system. Yeah, I actually didn't want to get into too much detail on that, because that's another lesson. But the way this works, the Pelham is a lever, okay? You see how it rotates when you pull the reins? That rotates and makes pressure on the chain here at the back. This is actually a bit long, this Pelham as it is now. So we're gonna shorten this thing to make it a bit more flush.
Pato, sorry, by the way, I think that if they're learning for the future, it's important that we tell them as well how important it is. The third, you see the big ring on the top that you were just showing now, and then there's a little ring there in the middle between the bottom and that one. Exactly. What is that for? It's important if you can explain to them what is that for.
Okay. Now, the Pelham can go both ways. Backwards like this, which is the way you want, or it can go the other way. Now, this is a dangerous thing. If it goes the other way, it doesn't work. The horse, you won't be able to stop the horse. What this hole there does is actually we can add, we don't have it on here now, add a piece of string that ties into goes through the chain and on the other side, so it prevents it to go the opposite way. Now, we're getting a little bit technical here, okay? But what we want the Pelham to do is that movement and no more. If it goes the other way, that would cause problems in the horse's mouth, or you won't be able to control it. So that bit over there is also like a bit like a safety, which prevents the Pelham to go forward. But so the way this works, in physics terms, this creates a lever and gets the jaw of the horse to, you put pressure on the lower jaw of the horse to do this. So this will bring the horse's mouth back like this and make it stop. Okay, so it is a lever that makes the horse's mouth go back. That's one mechanism to stop the horse. The bridle that Tula asked about just now operates differently. Now I don't have a bridle to explain to you, but I will next time how it operates. Now, one other thing that here, to simplify, and because we have mostly beginners and children, we only use a pair of reins. Okay, there's another hook here, there's another ring here that you see. Here, there's another set of reins going. So you basically would have 4 reins, 2 on one side and 2 on the other, okay? And Bernie will explain you why we ride with 2 or 4 reins, okay?
Yeah, as I was explaining to Tula before, is when you ride with 1 rein, the horse will operate, like Pato was just saying, on the bottom part of the bar of the horse's jaw, and that's just gonna keep him like constantly putting his legs in when you stop. With the other part on the top, you're just stopping it with the upper bit of the horse's jaw, and it's not going to be like so hard on the horse's mouth to stop. That's why when you have 4 reins, what you do is, depending on the horse, you're going to see how you want the horse's head level. If you want it a bit lower, if you want it a bit higher, or what do you feel comfortable with?
If you see, my fingers a bit lower. My fingers, they are pulled, and you see what this does. The Pelham doesn't move. But if I pull from here, the Pelham does move, okay? So it's a combination of both that we want. A little bit of turning and a little bit of pulling back. The bridle operates a little bit similar, but actually the lower one makes the horse head go up. We call it levantador in Spanish, which is basically raiser of the head, okay? It operates like...
Yeah, so, and also the bridle that Tula was talking about, it's the gag. For example, the only horse with a gag there, it's Bandolero, and like Pato said, that's a whole different story. Like Polo bits it's a different universe, and you can talk about it all day. Every bit has a different way of working in the horse's mouth. The gag actually is more aggressive than the Pelham, than Pelham, and the reason why is because the horse's mouth, the Pelham is just going up and down on the horse's mouth. That's why it's so important to have the horse's teeth done. But like Pato said, that's going to be another lesson, and we can talk hours about it. Sorry, Pato.
It can get quite well. I don't know. To the nerds of the sport, it's super exciting, but there's a lot of information there that you may not see.
Sorry, I didn't realise I was opening up such a big can of worms.
We have
sorry, Pato. Depending the bit, that's why we have horse dentists. It's just amazing what these things do.
Yeah. Now, one thing, maybe just one more point on the Pelhams, that you will notice when you see them, that Pelhams have different lengths of these, we call them legs. So the longer the Pelham, as you probably realize, the more lever power you have. So the horses that are a little bit, stronger in the mouth, more difficult to stop, we would probably have longer legs here, okay? So you have more power of stopping. But this is a very important point, to have the right bit, the right Pelham, or the right bridle for each horse. If you do it too much, you can basically just get a horse not perform. If you don't have enough Pelham, you would probably not have brakes. So it's finding the right Pelham for the right horse. And even another layer of complication is the same horse will not operate in the same way, depending how much feed, how much training it has. Bernie mentioned last week, if you feed the horse a lot, if you have the horse full of bits, a lot of power, it probably requires a lot more power from you to stop the horse. So even in those cases, you have to fine tune the right bit for the horse. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's so important, as we talked with Pato in the last lesson. I don't know if it was with the kids or with you guys, with the children or you guys. That's why it's so important that the groom has to have a very good feeling about how he does things, because most of the times the patrons, when they ride a horse, they're not fully aware of if they put the right bit on, or what. But that is super important. Also, when we buy a horse, probably that you don't have your own horses, you're going to buy one. These are the first things you look at: what bit it has. If it has a giant bit, you better not buy it, because you're going to have problems in the future, and things like that. I'll just say one little case that happened to me, and I helped a kid playing polo. This was actually Amir Juma boy. He was playing a horse that it just literally flipped over on him on the final of the Pro-Am in 2014. He never realized that wasn't a bit of his horse, and it had a leg this long for a horse that was very, very soft. And I actually had the chance to play that horse. And well, he was very grateful that I told him that wasn't the original bit. So yeah, it's very important that you know exactly what bits your horses have.
Exactly. So there's a lot of little subtleties around this. Okay, so each part is important to be in the right place safely, and there are lots of little safety checks. So if I hadn't a very simple one, if there was something between here and the girth down here, just shortly, if there was something there, any dust or I don't know, if the girth had whatever, it can have things, you know, just bits of branches or whatever, that could damage the horse greatly. And if you have a girth sore down there, you cannot ride the horse because you will damage, and the horse will be in pain. Imagine you have a sore, you know, it's like having a blister on your foot. You always feel it, and the horse doesn't perform. It's always very important to look at the details when you're tacking. Okay, but we're gonna get Juana back to her stable, so you'll follow me. So you'll help me untack. Okay.
John the bridle.
As Pato goes back, I will just add a little thing, like Pato said, it's very important that you know how to tack, because even if you never will tack in your life because you have your groom or whatever, always go over your tack. Always see that everything's put on place, the tack is right, the bit or the gag or whatever it's in, it's how it has to go, and then go on. I've had grooms that have been working for me with over 15, 16 years. I still check every single part of my tag before I get on.
Bernie, sorry, I know I don't want to go down another rabbit warren of questions, but how important is the noseband? Because I noticed those ones, it's just like a sort of rope twisted one, whereas other types of tack, they can have like, is the noseband is part of the control of the horse, or is that not the
No,
case?
the noseband is actually for horses that use gag, don't open their mouth. Because if they open the mouth, the gag will not do the job. It will not stop the horse. How do you measure that? In the back, there's a strap, right? Where the buckle is from behind the horse's chin. You gotta make sure 2 fingers fit from the front of the horse's nose, right? 2 fingers and 2.
I think we lost you.
Are you there, Pato?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just a little bit far from the Wi-Fi, but let me just. So Janine is helping me with. There we go. So we have the Wi-Fi closer now. Can you all hear me and see me? Yeah.
Yep. You're doing it the English style, Pato. The way you take the braceplate, you're the best.
Okay, I'm gonna get Juana back in the stable. Back to her feet.
You forgot the tail, Pato.
Yes. There we go. Okay, so thank you to Juana, and let's get back to the desk for final remarks. You guys, I hope you memorized all these. You're going to be doing this when we get back, okay? We're not tagging anymore. So Bernie and I decided that you guys are going to tag your horses.
Exactly, Pato. You shouldn't. I thought we're not going to tell them till they got to Colts, but you give him a heads up now.
Yeah. New rules, of course. Good. Okay. Other things, guys. Any questions? Any thoughts on that? And Tula, you're banned from more questions. Your questions are very long and complicated. No, seriously. Questions? Go ahead. Very good. It's all very clear. It's all very clear. Any questions for Bernie? Who has a question for Bernie of any kind?
What are you eating?
Make sure it's a kind one.
What are you eating, Bernie?
I'm eating like gummy bears or whatever it's called. Something like that. You see now?
Well,
when I get back to Argentina, I eat all these kind of stuff.
Are those jelly tots?
But yeah, those ones. Yep. I've got some alfajores. The lady that works at my house bought everything I liked. So I already started eating since I got home. So you'll probably see me fatter when I get back.
So we're gonna have the Bernie that arrives. No, next time it's gonna be a little bit robust, well-fed, content. But,
like Pato said, this is not the guy of the picture.
yeah. Now, just everyone would be wondering whether there's any news or any anything new about when we're opening. There isn't really. You probably have seen all the communication from the government. It's not really clear yet the timing of phase 2. So we, as sporting activities, would enter in phase 2 of the opening. And it's been kept very, timing is not clear, I think deliberately, just to see how things evolve. But anyone's guess whether that will be 4 weeks, 6 weeks from the second lesson. It all depends on how things evolve. Now, jointly, all the riding schools, and we, including us, we're lobbying at levels to provide clarity, but there isn't anything new at the moment. So I think the moment there is something to communicate, of course you will know. I know you're all dying to ride. Everyone wants to ride, even if to exercise the horses and help us out. So I know that I can count on your help as soon as there is a little opening. So fingers crossed for that. Yeah. So we keep trying. Meantime, I mean, we can still do a midweek just glass of wine / online lesson with Bernie. Bernie would be in the morning having his mate. He will not know what day it is because he's going to be enclosed in that little room that you see for 2 weeks now. So maybe here you are, Bernie. We'll just have a few drinks and talk silly things.
Exactly.
In the morning.
Anytime. I'm always online. Actually, now it's 10 past 1 in the morning here in Argentina.
And where would you rather be? Where else would you rather be, Bernie, rather than talking to the Colts people?
Exactly. Like you said, like you asked me, what are you gonna do? Will you want to be on the lesson? Oh hell yeah, here I am with my mate talking with all of you. So it's a great plan for me. I'm on.
Bernie?
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you get a flight? How did you get out of here? Do you want a diplomatic mission or something?
No. I got the flight. That there was like very few flights coming to Argentina, and Pato was talking with the people from the embassy and things like that. So they let us know like 4 days or 3 days or something. Oh, actually 2 days before there was a flight coming over to Argentina. Without talking the layovers I had. Oh my God. So yeah, I mean, Pato organized all of that, and with the embassy people, and yeah, I'm already back home. But yeah, I had 14 hours layover in Kuala Lumpur, 15 hours in Doha, and then flew over to Argentina. So I left Singapore at 4. Well, I actually left my house from Singapore at 4 in the morning, and I arrived on 4 in the morning of the 20th of May, and I arrived in Argentina at 6 in the morning of the 22nd of May.
Oh, it's crazy.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Bernie, are you in quarantine? Do you have to do 2 weeks of quarantine?
Yes, yeah, I've got to do 2 weeks of quarantine, and I was very lucky that I could come to my house and do the quarantine. But obviously, there are some restrictions and stuff like that, so it's going to be kind of tough these 2 weeks inside my house.
You guys feel free to call Bernie anytime. He'll be open for us, or whenever you guys are.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, it was a crazy journey back home, and I was listening some people that they were talking in the airport, even though they had us very separated one from the other. I was hearing people that spent like 2 months in India, like they were stuck in the airport, like the hotels just kicked them out, and they just had to go to the airport, and they actually lived in the airport for 2 months. I mean, this was like crazy. Like these stories that people were telling, they actually looked like a movie. So yeah, I mean, I think I was pretty lucky, even though it took me 3 days to get home. But yeah.
Very good.
Mm.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone.
All right, guys. Well, stay safe this week, and see you all next week, or maybe some during the week. If you guys feel like a drink on midweek, it's Zoom.
Sounds good. Good to see you all.
I'm always ready to participate, so just let me know about that.
Good to see everyone.
Yeah, good to see everyone. Glad to meet you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Bernardo.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Patrick.
Bye.
Thanks, Janine. Bye.
Bye
Hey,
now.
Jane. How's everything going there in Colts?
Oh, it's great, Bernie. I'm doing all the tack,
Yeah.
I'm doing the exercising, I'm doing everything that you were doing now. Holidays. What's going on?
It's good, huh?
Yes,
Oh yeah. Pato was showing me the grass growing in the arena. Oh my God, we got to get back to work to get that dust flying around, huh?
Yeah, it's all good. But actually, we came out this morning, we were here at 8 o'clock to exercise the horses, but it was too wet. It was raining, and
Yeah.
we said, okay, tack time. So we just got stuck into doing all the tack. So
Yeah, that's good.
that was good.
That's good. Yeah.
We'll have to come back
Yeah.
out
Yeah. Yeah.
and exercise. And,
Well, that's good. That's good then. It's good. It's always good to be with the horses. I mean, especially for me, when I'm just waiting to see the morning crack, crack the morning, and then I used to go to Colts and get everything going. It's really good. Just keeps your mind out of everything. Like everything that's going on with quarantine and this and that. So yeah,
at least
I enjoy it. So
you feel like you're away from it, right? So,
yeah, exactly. Having a chat and everything now with you guys, it just makes things closer, because really, I mean, if I would have, like I said to Pato, I was like really doubting of coming over, if, like I said before, if I wouldn't have my son, I would probably still be there and just doing things, or even if they would have been able to fly over, I would have just stayed there. It's like I said, I feel extremely comfortable. So for me, it's I enjoyed it so much that it was a vacation. I actually started working hard. When I had to ride all the horses since the quarantine started, or else the lessons and everything for me, they were really light. I mean, I swear it was just enjoying. When you enjoy what you do, you just don't feel the hard work.
yeah. Very good. Yes,
Yeah.
We were. The boys couldn't believe that how long it took you to get home.
Oh, it was insane. It was so crazy. The good thing is that I just went into the Qatar lounge, you know, the VIP lounge, and just stayed there. Like especially in Qatar, that we were supposed to stay only 7 hours, and we ended up being 15. And in Kuala Lumpur, the 12 hours as well. I went into the lounge there and just stayed. That really made the trip easier. You know, you have a shower in Qatar, and not in Kuala Lumpur because